Hello everyone, welcome to VOD of Consciousness with Sientir. I'm Sientir, and let's just get right into it. So I'm going to go explore Ice Floe in the Shiver Peaks. Now that I think about it, one of the major things of this area is there's a bunch of bosses in the area, but I'm not looking to capture any skills. I'm just going out to get map, I guess, mostly. I don't think I need all of these up. I wanted them for the mission, but I've been spent so long on those past couple of missions focused on the game that I'm kind of having to reorient myself a little bit. Not the button I wanted to push. I'm just looking at this tree. It's kind of interesting in kind of this ring of stonework. I really do like interesting world design that has some sort of implication behind it. What's the significance of that tree? Did it just grow there naturally, or did they intend for that to happen with that around it and all of that? I don't know. This is a dangerous zone to go into without being infused, by the way. As you can see, all of my stuff is infused, but going in here without being infused means that you're going to get wrecked by Mersat. So, as Spectral Agony happens, and Spectral Agony hurts a lot. I think that's an interesting idea from a design standpoint, to have some enemies that are just very, very dangerous until you reach a certain plot point. I don't know. Once you've passed that plot point, though, they're no longer that huge danger, so... Ice imps are still dangerous, though. Let me tell you that. Anyway. Hopefully things are going okay with the video. I'm getting all these encoding overloaded errors, so I might want to make a mental note to check, see if the episode came out okay. Don't know how many of those there have been. I might want to look at things in between. Anyway, we're just going to plow on, and you know, if things go poorly, I guess. There's a lot going on visually, so I could see that happening. Huh. Curious what it does, actually. When it's overloaded, like, what does that mean for the video itself? I don't know. Now I'm worried about that. Oh well. I'll try to disregard it for the moment. I think there's an outpost around here, so I'm kind of interested in finding it. Yeah. I'm just kind of feeling and thinking, and this is a lot of ice imps, is what I'm thinking. Something that's really important to be careful of is not getting overloaded with maelstroms, stopping your entire backline from doing anything. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. It's not like that friggin' cave where we're bottlenecked and getting slammed by a ton of maelstroms from every direction imaginable, and that was just painful. I like snowy areas. I know snowy mountainous areas are kind of cliche in a way, but I like them. Why did I hit that button? That button didn't do anything. Yeah, there's a maelstrom going off right there. That's actually something that you have to be really careful of in video games. This is something that I really especially learned from Redcoat, is just how important it is to make sure that the player can know what's going on. So one of the problems that this game has is there's some important stuff that goes on. Take Maelstrom, for instance. It's this very dangerous area of effect spell that pulses for a little while. And the reason why it's dangerous is because it interrupts spellcasting on each pulse. But the graphic effect for where it's at is extremely minimal. It's very, very hard to tell where a Maelstrom is. So it's got a combination of a very, very subtle visual effect and a very powerful... great, thanks. A very powerful actual effect. The result of this... I'm having to tell my idiot necromancer to remove conditions from me. It's okay, his AI doesn't know any better. But the end result of this is you have a situation where this dangerous effect is happening and it's really hard to tell where. And that's kind of a bad combination, you know? It's like... That's why it's so important to have really obvious tells for where important things are. But at the same time, you have to be really careful because it's super easy to overload the player. Like, it's really, really easy to make so much stuff going on that the player can't actually tell what's important and what they need to pay attention to. So that's also important. You want to make sure that you give the player enough information, but you also want to make sure you don't give the player too much information. And kind of finding the balance on that can be really tricky at times. So, I don't know. That's just some thoughts about that particular topic. I'm inevitably going to talk about game design some anyway. I am playing a game after all. I'm going to continue my way down over here. I think the town I'm trying to get to is over this way. Yeah, Marhan's Grotto is indeed over here, as I was thinking it was. So I actually really like this. This is an outpost that's just kind of off in the middle of nowhere. Similar to actually how the Granite Citadel is off in the middle of nowhere. There's no reason to go there. There's some quests that take you up that way into Mineral Spring that are end game quests. Now this outpost has one gigantic thing against it, and that is it is entirely ice because it's on a frozen lake, and that means when you stop, you get the icy ground that makes you move super slowly. This guy can't make me any armor because it's only for the core professions of monk, mesmer, elementalist, necromancer, warrior, and mesmer. So I can't actually get anything there. But this is a cool, like, out-of-the-way outpost. Like I said, it's very similar to the Granite Citadel up here. Again, this is very out of the way. There's no actual reason to go over there. So I just think that's rather interesting that they put these sorts of like little hidden areas where you could get better stuff if you went exploring. My inventory is actually pretty full, but I don't want to check it here. So I guess I'm just going to kind of continue this way, kind of a northernish direction. I'd like to not refight those imps because we beat them already. This area does have a lot of ice imps. It has a few more Zot patrols though that make you have to worry about that sort of thing. Yeah, trying to interrupt a mesmer is not probably the best course of action. Actually, we should be interrupting this monk is what we should be doing. This is something else that's really interesting. A lot of games use monk to be a sort of fisticuffs type of profession, or fisticuffs type class, excuse me. This game called them professions as well. which often means something else in other games. Typically something along the lines of a crafting profession, and then you have your class, something along those lines. But this game called them professions, and because this is kind of like the first, such a dominant force, I suppose, in my RPG type vocabulary, that's just how I've kind of always referred to them. But along with that, the monk in this game is taking on the sort of like traditional religious role of a monk in almost a Western standard as opposed to an Eastern standard. A lot of people have been influenced by sort of the Kung Fu monk concept. That's in part what I believe Dungeons and Dragons does, if I'm not mistaken. But the thing that I find particularly interesting is that because this game uses monk in that more of a divine servant sense, in almost more of a healing oriented paladin in some regards, as far as what a paladin is considered to be. Or almost more of a priest or cleric, perhaps. It's always kind of flavored how I think of a monk as a game class. And so I always have to kind of remember that alternate concept of what a monk is that's used in D&D, because it's foreign to me. So, anyway, I just thought I would share my thoughts in that regard. Oh my goodness, Horizon of Healing is so bad. It's okay in certain very specific builds, but it's your kind of bog standard healing spell. It's something that you'll see in games like this, I suppose you could say. I'm going to see what salvaging I can do to try to clear up some inventory space. Okay, that was not what I was hoping that would salvage into. Yes, everything salvaged into different stuff for me, so that way I can't get... Yeah, literally everything is salvaging into different stuff. Whatever, that's more important to me than this air wand. I should have cleared out my inventory, but I didn't because I was feeling lazy, and now I'm getting punished for it. But that's okay. I do like that Guild Wars 2 makes that sort of inventory management stuff easier. Frankly, I'd probably be playing that game if I actually liked the combat and build system, but unless they've changed anything dramatically, I don't. Which is unfortunate because I really wanted to. But what can you do? And, you know, it probably has people that do like it. I hope the designers like it. But I don't. So. Not a whole lot I can do about that fact. Not a whole lot I can do about that fact at all. So we're making our way here up towards somewhere. I'm kind of seeing actually how much this zone connects up to the Iron Mines of Milladum. That is actually what I am doing right now. And I'm hoping that the random encode overload stuff that I've been seeing is not causing problems with the video. Not seeing one at the moment, so I'm hoping that it's not been causing too much problem. You Move Like a Dwarf is really good because it functions as because it's a knockdown effect, it functions as an interrupt. Oh goodness. Sorry, I'm just like... We have to not be in the middle of all those maelstroms, so I'm trying to encourage my guys to not be in the middle of a bajillion maelstroms. But You Move Like a Dwarf does damage, does knockdown, which is really good, and inflicts cripple. So it's just super, super powerful. That Pine Soul does not matter. Well, I missed that, but that's okay. Ah, I got that one, though. I can tell because I gained 3 energy from it. I actually really like the Mesmer Profession design in this game. I'm principally not playing one, but, you know, whatever. I'm partially playing one. The purpose of a Mesmer is to disrupt what the opponent's trying to do in order to protect your team or to be able to enable offensive against their team. It disrupts actions and is kind of a trickster character. I think that's a really interesting implementation. This game has a really good variety of, you need to protect yourselves with more than just monk healing, but you can accomplish that. I forget what is in this zone. Kind of some pretty atmospheres in here. But anyway, as I was saying, you need to protect yourself from stuff. And there's lots of different ways that you can do it, and each profession has kind of their own sort of niche that they can fill, both offensively and defensively within a party. And I think that's really interesting and really cool, and they all kind of have their own approach, and different effects that you're going to want at different times for different reasons. So something that I really appreciate about the design of this game is just that variance that it has in terms of what you can do and what you want to do and that sort of thing. But I see that we're kind of coming up towards what I would consider time. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the top of this little bridge, and I'm going to say farewell. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.